Some dogs love petting and brushing, but many don't. Many dogs are deeply uncomfortable with having their paws handled or being groomed. If your dog doesn't like being handled, there is a lot that you can do to help him. I strongly recommend checking out Deb Jones's book on cooperative care. Keep in mind that your dog is probably growling, snapping, or biting because he's either afraid or in pain. A dog who dislikes handling is trying to get away from you. That's why punishing your dog for this behavior is so counterproductive. We need to build trust and support your dog, not punish him for trying to get away. Step 1. Check for pain. If your dog doesn't like having his paws touched, it's important to get a veterinary checkup as your first course of action. That's because it's possible that this handling sensitivity is related to pain. When I worked at the shelter, we often saw dogs who didn't like being handled. Some of these dogs actually had abscessed teeth, ingrown toenails, or painfully matted fur. You can read the story of one of those dogs here. Ideally, look for fear-free certified vet. Keep in mind that assessing your dog for pain can be really difficult if your dog is terrified of the vet. But a thorough checkup is a must. Be sure to warn your vet ahead of time why you're coming in. Don't spring this question on your vet after they've just finished up routine vaccinations. Step 2. Assess the issue. If we don't know where your dog's issue starts, we won't know if what we're doing is working. Start out by keeping track of your dog's issues for at least a week. When does he get upset about handling? What were you doing? What else was going on nearby? What did he do? For example, June 24, 2019, Fluffy allowed me to clip his leash on for our 7:30 a.m. walk no problem. It was quiet in the house, everyone else was asleep. I picked up his leash and he came over. I reached under his neck and clipped it on. But when I went to take his leash off, he growled at me. It was 8 a.m. and we'd returned from our walk. Jojo, the neighbor's dog, was barking at us. I pulled Fluffy into the house and was talking to Ted about dinner plans. I reached for Fluffy's collar, grabbed it, and rotated it upwards to unclip the leash. When I reached in with a second hand, he lifted his lips and growled. His eyes were really big. If you keep a journal like this, you're likely to identify some patterns. Do you see the difference between the 7:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. collar grabs? Why do you think Fluffy was okay with the earlier collar grab, but not the 8 a.m. one? Consider getting help. It's also time to consider getting help from a certified dog behavior consultant.